Well, another video game bites the dust. After 14 days of being online, you're going offline September 6th, which is wild. Like, is there any redeeming qualities about this game? Like, will players that were playing Concord come back to this game if it comes back for free 99? Is there any type of redeeming qualities about this game? I don't know. I really don't know. But we do have a message from PlayStation.blog. Let's check it out. According to PlayStation.blog, Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC, and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Your support and passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. Now, while we determine the best path forward, Concord sales will cease immediately, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 or PC. If you purchase the game for PS5 from the PlayStation Store or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued back to your original payment. Customers who purchase from other digital storefronts will also be refunded. More information about refunds from Steam and Epic can be found below, which is Steam Store, the Epic Game Store, the other retailer refunds. You're getting your refund. So the thing is, I don't take joy in like I told you so's or whatever the case may be, because honestly and truly, Concord, I actually enjoyed that game. I really did. I didn't purchase the game. I played the beta, and for what it's worth, I really did enjoy the game. Now, in the back of my mind, though, even though I personally enjoy the game, how is it going to differentiate itself from other hero shooters? Because I don't see much of a difference between the two. Like Overwatch and Paladins and the upcoming Marvel rivals. How are you going to differentiate yourself? Because it feels like it's a different game. It feels like it's the same game but reskinned with different characters. You know what I mean? So, and also, I feel like part of the blame is Sony and not Firewalk Studios, because Firewalk Studios have been working on this game for 8 years, like almost a decade of development on this game to release it. And the only thing you get is 697 concurrent players, according to Variety.com. And then you're going to go offline and within 2 weeks of launch. Like, the thing is, I feel sorry for the developers at Firewalk, because looking on their website, it's their first game. Like, what does that mean for the workers at Firewalk Studios? Because I fear the worst. I fear that resume is going to have to get updated. I mean, Firewalk will no longer be Firewalk. I hope that's not the case, but as much as uh cutting the fat out as far as big businesses goes, and letting go of certain gaming developers or ending studios and so on and so forth, it's not too far from the truth here. And that's the negative part of it. Like, who's really to blame for this? I can't blame Firewalk Studios because they've been working on this game for 8 years, like I said earlier. And when Sony picked it up, maybe it's Sony's fault. Maybe if you look at the marketing, maybe you should market the game better. Because when it came down to the PlayStation showcase, Xbox blew PlayStation out the water when it comes to presentation, as far as the games that they had coming out. And I was like, I was generally more excited for the Xbox game than I was PlayStation. And it's like, it was no like sizzle when it comes to announcing these games. And Concord just looked like just another game out there. So as far as marketing is concerned, the marketing could have been 10 times better for Firewalk and Concord, especially if it took them 8 years to develop this game and finally it's out. The next thing is timing. Look at the time of when Concord was released. You look at all these AAA titles, and let's back up for a second. All this money that was invested in this game, it is a AAA. It's a AAA title, only to be live for 14 days, which is crazy, which is wild. But let's go back to my second point. My second point is timing. Look at all the great games that coming out surrounding Concord. If you are a gamer, when would you have time to pick up and play Concord? You wouldn't. You got Black Myth Wukong. You got Space Marine 2 coming out. EA College Football 25 is already out. Not to mention Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection that is hanging out there. Oh, by the way, Marvel Rivals, which it escapes me on its release date, for what I understand, is free. So why would I pay for Concord? Concord by no means is a terrible game, because it's not. I feel like the developers did a good job in creating this game and creating a space for it. But I feel like marketing and timing was the enemy here. Sony should have marketed this game better. Also, they should have released it at a time where there's a little bit of a slowdown in the hot titles that is out at this point. If you got Black Myth Wukong that sold 10 million copies in 3 days, you got Space Marine 2 that actually have a roadmap, which we're going to cover that. And you got Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, which the fighting game community is head over heels and over the moon for. I'm one of those people. EA College Football 25 that people wait 10, 11 years to actually play. Like, mind-boggling. Why would you even put that game out during that time period? So I feel like that happens with certain movies too. Like, if you got a real hot movie that's coming out on that release date, and then there's another hot movie that's coming out around that same time period, and you know your movie is not going to be as hot as those movies, don't put that movie out on those dates. Wait till there is a slowdown where there's a little bit of I would say somewhat of a lull in movie watching, and then release that movie, because now people got something to see. Now that has potential to be the #1 movie. Concord has potential to be up there with other live service hero shooter games if they got released at a different time period. Maybe you could have released it around Christmas time, and just push the release date some. I think like changing it to free 99 if they're going to release this game again because it's going offline. I don't think it's going to help matters, because now Concord is going to be the butt of a video game joke. God knows Anthem was. Like, Anthem was Anthem for a very long time was that joke. Anytime you bring up Anthem, there is a snicker, there is a laugh, or just we gonna laugh in your face, because at some point people thought that was going to be the Destiny 2 killer. And it wasn't. But let's look at the groundwork that Space Marine 2 is putting out. So we're looking at Space Marine 2. This right here is free updates, and they give you a roadmap for 2024 all the way up to 2025. Starting with September, you got private PvE lobbies, ultra-wide support, battle bar sparring arena, season 2, which is also this year, new PvE missions, lethal difficulty, a Neo-Volkite pistol, plus a new enemy. Then you go over to season 3 in 2025, which is also a new PvE mission, a new PvP map game mode, new PvP arenas, new enemies. You get the gist. Obviously, you got season pass. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, they understand the assignment here. We see the word free, we understand, and I feel like with this will potentially lay down the groundwork for how games should be put out there. Yeah, there's different versions of the game you can buy, but you don't have to buy those, because guess what? You got a battle plan for Space Marine 2. And right now the roadmap is for 4 seasons so far. So back to like Concord. What could they done to make things better? Maybe they should have tried the Space Marine 2 approach. Like, maybe big business, you know, people that want to invest in video games, maybe you should let the developers make the games they know people going to enjoy. Concord by no means sucked. It did not. It did not suck by any stretch of the imagination. But maybe the focus it should be more on making quality games versus, you know, focusing on the financial gain of it. Let financial be the second part of it, because guess what? If you focus on the financials first and not the quality of the game, your game is going to suck. You're going to deal with the fate where you're going to be pointing fingers like, oh, it's your fault, your fault, your fault, where the finger should have been pointing at the person that actually pushed the game to come out in the first damn place. Because I grew up in a time where I had an NES system and there was a variety of games out there, you know, for Sega Genesis, for Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. You know, the Battle Royale system was like oversaturated. I mean, you got Warzone, you got Fortnite, you got Apex Legends. I mean, if I put out a Battle Royale game, it's going to suck. Like, because of the ceiling is so high at this point, and I feel like the ceiling is that high for hero shooters. Where is the innovativeness? Where's the imagination? Because greed masks qualities of games. If we see a paywall, we going the other way. We out of there. We see a paywall, we don't want to deal with that. Microtransactions is a taboo word in the gaming community. We see the word microtransactions, it's like, man. And it has such a negative connotation on it because think about it. Star Wars Battlefront 2, that's another game that's out there. But I mean, just think about it. What can we do to fix the future of gaming? I feel like let the developers, let the game designers, the artists who writes the code to create these games, leave them the fuck alone. Let them cook. Let them create games they need to. Worry about the money later. The money will always be there. Fortnite. Let's talk about Fortnite. Fortnite, to me, have like the perfect formula. The game is free. Yes, you pay for cosmetics or whatever, but you didn't hit people over the head immediately. They enjoyed the game. You already got the crowd there. Now that you got the people there, you got rappers doing collabs. You got Marvel doing collabs. You got, any sci-fi characters doing collabs. You have actual concerts happening at Fortnite. People that don't really game like that play Fortnite. One of the biggest battle royale games. It is the biggest battle royale game ever. You know what I'm saying? So there's a formula there. Destiny. Like, I bought Destiny 2 some years ago, and this game is still going right now. Is it a grind fest? Yes. Is the community is big? Yes, the community is big. Is there new stories that need to be purchased? Yes. But at the same time, they handling this thing, I wouldn't say perfectly, but in a good way though, because people are coming back because they want to finish the story, because they invested so much time and energy and years into Destiny, they have to see it through. But I feel like, and it's just an opinion, if you disagree with this, comment below. But I do feel like in the beginning, Bungie wasn't really focusing on the financials when Destiny 2 came out. Initially, they wanted to make a quality game first because this is the successor to the first Destiny game. So in theory, it has to be better than Destiny 1. It got to get people off of D1 and put them on D2. And they brought a community together. And then every now and again, you sprinkle in some new seasons and some new stories that you pay for, and people didn't mind paying for it. Yes, there was somewhat of a paywall, but guess what? Consumer base didn't give a damn, because guess what? We enjoyed the freaking game. But I think some of these big businesses are so hell bent on meeting financial goals that you put out mediocrity. Concord was just an unfortunate chain of events. That's the best thing I can say. It wasn't a terrible game by any means. I think it was just the wrong time that it was released. And sometimes that happens, but I wish it didn't because this is Firewalk Studios' first game. Like this, they've been working on this thing for 8 years. Imagine working the art, the game design, and all those hours of sleep that you did not take to release this game only to go offline after 14 days. Like that I mean, honestly, that's depressing. That's depressing. But honestly, on the positive note, I hope nothing happens to Firewalk Studios. No employee for Firewalk Studios. I hope they keep their position, they keep their jobs, and I hope in some way, shape, or form, Sony takes the hit. Like, hey man, we didn't market this game the way we should. You know, we put it out at the wrong time. I would say do that, man. Take a little bit of ownership. But we'll see.